What if everything you've experienced so far had a deeper meaning than you could imagine? What if every mistake, every loss, every obstacle was fulfilling an exact role in your growth? Sometimes we believe things just happen, that life is random, that pain comes without explanation. But the Stoics knew there were no loose pieces on the board. For them, the universe makes no mistakes, and you are not here by accident. Every situation, even the most difficult, has something to teach you. Every delay, every person who leaves, every unexpected turn, all are part of a plan you cannot yet see clearly. While the world screams and resists its destiny, the Stoics accept what comes with strength and gratitude. Not because they are passive, but because they understand that everything serves a purpose, that everything pushes forward, that everything forges. Today, I will show you how you too can begin to see your story with different eyes. When you realize nothing is coincidence, you stop resisting and start advancing. Your mind calms, your energy centers, and your purpose becomes clear. Before continuing, go to the comments and write, "I believe in my path. Everything has meaning." With this phrase, you close your commitment to live consciously, accepting with wisdom and acting with purpose. Write it now. Make it real. Pay close attention to the following story. It will help you better understand the wisdom contained in this material. The story of Elena. When obstacles open doors. Once upon a time, in a valley surrounded by rivers and mountains, there lived a young woman named Elena. She was known throughout her town for her kindness and her habit of helping everyone, though often she didn't understand why her life seemed filled with small obstacles that delayed her plans. One day she decided to travel to the city to sell the hand-woven textiles she had spent months creating. She rose early, loaded her cart with rolls of fabric, and set off. However, halfway through her journey, one of the wheels on her cart broke. Frustrated, she considered turning back, but something inside urged her to continue. With effort, she repaired the wheel as best she could and moved forward, though much slower than planned. When she finally arrived in the city, she discovered her delay had caused her to arrive at the same time as a festival she'd never attended before. There, her textiles caught the attention of a merchant seeking artisanal goods for export. He was amazed by the quality of her work and offered to buy all the production she could deliver over the next few months. Elena then realized that if she hadn't suffered the breakdown on the road, she would have missed the perfect moment to meet this opportunity. What seemed like an obstacle became the key that opened a new chapter in her life. Upon returning to her village, she shared her experience with her neighbors, saying, "Everything that happens to us has a purpose, even if we can't see it at first. Nothing is coincidence. Everything has a reason within the course of life." The lesson of this story is this: delays, difficulties, and even falls don't appear to destroy us. They place us exactly where we need to be. When we learn to trust that everything has meaning, we discover that even moments that seem like problems may hide opportunities capable of changing our destiny. Lesson 1. The invisible order of life. There is an invisible order that sustains life, even if our eyes don't always perceive it. Every event, from the smallest to the most significant, is part of a design that transcends us, yet surrounds us at every moment. What we often call chance is actually the manifestation of a mechanism moving with precision, even if our minds label it coincidence. The Stoics understood this truth and taught us to accept what occurs as if we had chosen it, trusting that every event fits into a greater plan. Imagine a great machine. You only see one gear turning. From your perspective, it seems to move without purpose. But if you could see the whole, you'd realize this single piece drives other parts, and every movement is necessary for the system to function. So it is with life. Isolated moments may seem absurd or unfair, but when integrated into the whole, they reveal their profound meaning. Marcus Aurelius said, "Everything that happens to us is woven into the same web of the universe. Nothing occurs outside the harmony of this whole." We resist because we want events to follow our script, but the true script is far wider than our expectations. When an obstacle appears in our path, we tend to complain, feeling as if life is working against us. But look closely, and you'll find each obstacle opens a learning experience. Each loss leads us to change. Each apparent error forces us to transform. There are no loose threads in the tapestry of existence. Everything connects, even what hurts. Epictetus taught, "We do not control what happens, but we can decide how we interpret it." And that interpretation reveals whether or not we understand the invisible order. Someone who loses a job may see it as a setback, but within that void lies the space for a new path. Someone who experiences a romantic breakup feels fate has turned its back, but perhaps life separated them from a place that didn't belong to them. What seems like bad luck is actually part of a mechanism wiser than we are. Seneca noted, "We suffer more in our imagination than in reality, because the pain isn't in what happens, it's in our resistance to accept it. We assume the universe should accommodate our plans, and when it doesn't, we call it injustice or coincidence. But if we shift our perspective, if we recognize that everything has a place in the larger structure, peace arises. Nothing is meaningless. Nothing is random. Every person who enters our path, every moment, every encounter, in short, every goodbye, is aligned with a purpose guiding us forward. Perhaps we don't understand that purpose at the time, but later we realize what seemed like an error became a blessing. What brought us down gave us strength. What wounded us became the doorway to a fuller life. Order requires our permission to manifest, but once we learn to trust it, everything changes. To stop fighting the inevitable is to open ourselves to serenity. This is not resignation, it is wisdom. It means understanding that life never makes mistakes, and that even silence and pauses play a role in our evolution. Stoic philosophy reminds us we are part of a greater peace. Our duty is not to force the universe, but to harmonize with it. Peace arises when we understand. We do not walk amid chaos, but within a cosmos responding to perfect order, even when it escapes our comprehension. Every day is an invitation to see beyond appearances, to perceive how the pieces connect, even if we don't know how. Trusting this hidden guidance frees us from anxiety and allows us to advance with determination. If life is not ruled by coincidence, then every moment we live is sacred. Every experience is a lesson, and every trial is a link bringing us closer to our best selves. Trust the invisible order, because there lies the strength that supports everything you are and everything you will become. To seal this commitment, write in the comments, "I trust the hidden guidance of my life." Lesson 2. Trials are teachers. Life has a quiet, forceful way of showing us what we still need to learn, and it does so through trials. Every difficulty that crosses our path is not an accident or disaster. It is a teacher in disguise, inviting us to grow. Obstacles don't appear randomly. They emerge precisely when we need to confront our weaknesses and overcome internal resistance. What we see today as punishment is actually a lesson we haven't yet integrated. The Stoics understood this well. It's not that life attacks us, it forges us, like stone shaped by fire. Marcus Aurelius wrote, "Everything that happens is for the good of the world, and therefore for our own good, because we are inseparable parts of it." This vision reminds us that every deviation is aligned with a higher purpose, even when we struggle to recognize it in the moment. Pain never arrives without reason. It points to an area still needing work. If something hurts you, it awakens a hidden wound or a strength still under construction. When someone criticizes you and it stings, the lesson isn't in the criticism itself, it's in your need for approval. When you lose someone you love, the suffering teaches you to let go of what you cannot hold. When you face failure, The real lesson is discovering that your worth doesn't depend on a single outcome. Seneca said, "Adversity reveals a man to himself, because it's only in trials that we discover what we're made of." Comfort is pleasant, but it doesn't transform. On the other hand, challenges awaken our deepest potential. Imagine a tree growing in fertile soil, abundantly watered. Its development is fast, but its roots remain shallow. Now imagine another tree, battered by storms and droughts, forced to drive its roots deep to survive. Precisely this resistance gives it strength. So it is with us. Life strengthens us not to break us, but so we learn to stand firm. Every obstacle is an invisible training ground for what comes next. What seems overwhelming today becomes the foundation of your strength tomorrow. The pain you feel today turns into the memory that inspires you to keep going in the future. Epictetus insisted, "It is not circumstances that threaten us, but the interpretations we make of them." When you choose to see adversity as an opportunity, you cease being a victim and become a student. Then pain transforms into a teacher. Think about it. How many times did an ending turn out to be a beginning? How many times did what seemed unjust give you direction? Sometimes we must lose to find, fall to rise, make mistakes to understand. Every lesson has its price, and that is the cost we pay for growth. But such suffering brings reward. The Stoics saw life as a training field. It's not about escaping pain, but learning to face it with dignity. A soldier is not trained in comfort, but in battle. Likewise, character is not formed in calm, but in adversity. Marcus Aurelius warned us not to resent difficulties, because they are a natural part of the universe's order. Resisting is fighting the inevitable. Accepting is aligning with the wisdom of life. The question isn't, why me? It's, what is this teaching me to live? That question opens the door to the hidden lessons in every challenge. And when you find the answer, pain ceases to be an enemy and becomes a guide. No one escapes trials. All of us walk paths of uncertainty, loss, and challenge. The difference between those who collapse and those who grow lies in how they view these events. Those who cling to comfort become prisoners of their suffering, but those who approach difficulty as a lesson find freedom even in chaos. Every blow can knock you down or lift you up, and that decision is always yours. Trials are life's language, reminding us we are stronger than we believe. What you have today will be pain tomorrow, and every pain is a testament to the fact that you've survived, learned, and advanced. Trust that no obstacle is useless, no pain lacks a lesson. If life pushes you into the storm, it's because there you will find the tools for transformation. Don't curse the challenge. Look it in the face, learn from it, and let it make you wiser. Because only those who have passed through trials can truly know themselves. Now write in the comments, I embrace my trials as teachers in my life. Lesson 3. Encounters that leave a mark. Some encounters are unforgettable. Even as years pass, the people who unexpectedly cross your path leave an indelible mark. Some stay for long seasons, others only for a brief moment. But all come with purpose. No one crosses your life by accident. Every face, every word, every relationship carries a message or a test that existence places before you. The Stoics already knew this. They felt it. The world does not operate in chaos, but within an invisible order, where everything has meaning. Others, with their virtues and flaws, are mirrors, reflecting your inner world. When someone awakens joy, tenderness, or confidence in you, it's because a part of you recognizes in them what you already carry inside. When someone provokes anguish, frustration, or pain, that reaction speaks not only of them, but of wounds within you that have not yet healed. Epictetus reminded us, it is not things themselves that disturb us, but the opinions we have about them. In the same way, it's not people who define what you feel, but what they awaken within you. Every encounter, pleasant or uncomfortable, is an opportunity to know yourself better. If someone hurts you, they show you where you are still vulnerable. If someone inspires you, they remind you of what you're capable of achieving. If someone challenges you, they push you to strengthen your character. Marcus Aurelius wrote, "We live in community because we need others to develop. Even those who seem like enemies have their place in our evolution." That perspective changes everything. It's no longer about labeling others as good or bad, but about understanding which parts of you they reveal. Think about the people who have marked your history. Some gave you love and support during hard times. Others confronted you with your shadow, forcing you to draw strength from within you didn't know existed. A teacher doesn't always come as a gentle guide. Sometimes they arrive as someone who challenges you, questions your certainties, and forces you to uncover your power. Seneca said, "No wind is favorable to someone who does not know where they are going." Relationships act like that wind. Some propel you forward, others force you to adjust your course, but none leave your vessel unchanged. Nothing remains the same after a meaningful encounter. Even painful farewells bring transformative lessons. Losing someone you love teaches you to value the fleeting more deeply. A friend's betrayal reminds you that trust must be cultivated with care. An unexpected kindness from a stranger shows that warmth can appear anywhere. Every shared story shapes you in a way you could never achieve alone. Though life's journey is personal, it is always traveled alongside those who reflect you back to yourself. Another person acts as a mirror. What you admire, you wish to cultivate. What you reject, you still need to work on. What you are grateful for is already part of your essence. Recognizing this liberates you from the idea that others have the power to ruin your peace or determine your worth. They only show you what you carry inside. You decide what to do with that information. Stoic philosophy invites us not to react with hatred or blind admiration, but to observe with equanimity. Every relationship is a training ground where you practice patience, empathy, and discipline. A difficult person trains you in tolerance. A beloved one reminds you of the importance of gratitude. A stranger who crosses your path for mere minutes might be the spark that starts a new phase. No encounter is meaningless. Life uses relationships as part of a grander design, and by understanding this, we stop being indifferent. We no longer see them as simple coincidences, but as opportunities for transformation. Not everyone deserves closeness, but even those who stay briefly leave the imprint needed for your evolution. The essential thing is to learn from each one, appreciate the message they bring, and allow that insight to lead you closer to your best self. Because encounters that leave a mark are not accidents. They are life's way of reminding us that the soul's journey cannot be walked alone. Now write in the comments, "I am grateful for every encounter that transforms me." Lesson 4. The perfect timing of life. There is a truth that is hard to accept, but freeing once understood. Time is never wrong. Nothing happens too soon or too late. Every event arrives at the precise moment it should. Even if our impatience makes us believe otherwise, the human mind seeks control. We want results to unfold at the pace of our plans, but life moves at a different rhythm, wiser and deeper than ours. When we rush events, when we try to force the natural process, all we find is frustration. Patience, on the other hand, opens doors passion closes. Marcus Aurelius understood this when he wrote, "Everything that happens, happens as it should. If we receive it with serenity, we will see it couldn't be any other way." The perfect moment reveals its purpose, but only when we allow ourselves to wait without anxiety. Often we believe we are ready for something we don't yet know how to sustain. We call for success, but lack the discipline to maintain it. We desire a relationship, but haven't yet learned to love ourselves. We dream of opportunities, but if they came too soon, they would overwhelm us. The universe doesn't deny what we ask, it prepares us. Every delay is a form of protection. Every burden is silent training. A seed doesn't bloom in winter, even if we command it. It needs its season, its temperature, consistent care. The same holds true for our dreams and our learning. Epictetus reminded us, we cannot control external things, only our response to them. And among those responses is our attitude toward time. We can choose impatience, fill ourselves with complaints and comparisons, or we can choose trust, knowing what is meant for us won't arrive a minute earlier. Life is never behind. It's we who linger, trapped in our expectations. Every time we think, it should have happened by now, we forget. We don't set the true pace. Existence doesn't follow our clock. It follows a greater order, fulfilled with precision. The perfect moment doesn't mean everything will be easy, nor that every desire will be instantly granted. It means every experience arrives at the exact moment it benefits us most, even if we don't understand it in the present. Think of past moments when you felt everything had fallen apart because things weren't going your way. Perhaps a closed door, a failure, a painful farewell. Later, looking back, you realized it was necessary to place you where you were meant to be. What seemed like stagnation was actually direction. What seemed like injustice was protection. What seemed like loss was space for something better. Seneca said, "It's not about living a long time, it's about living at the right time." That is the key, learning to be at peace with the present, without demanding life to speed up. Loss is the enemy of wisdom because it blinds us to the opportunities already before us. When we rush, we fail to see. When we trust, we begin to recognize that everything has meaning. Patience is not passivity. It is the highest form of strength. Waiting doesn't mean standing still. It means walking forward without anxiety, trusting that each step is placed in the correct order. Marcus Aurelius insisted, "What comes to us also comes to the universe." And if we learn to accept this rest, we stop fighting the inevitable. The perfect moment doesn't always match our desires, but it always matches our needs. And when we receive it with gratitude, we discover nothing was missing or excessive. Everything arrived at the exact right time. The rhythm of life is wiser than ours, and trusting that rhythm brings peace. Next time you feel something is taking too long, remember, the clock of existence never runs slow. Don't lose your calm trying to accelerate what is still unfolding. The moment will come, and when it does, you'll understand it could not have been any other way. Now, write in the comments, "I trust the perfect timing of my life." Lesson 5. Setbacks are not defeats. They are redirections. Rest is a word we often fear, as if it were synonymous with final defeat. But in truth, rest is not losing, it's learning. What initially seems like a setback is actually a redirection. Life pushes us through failures toward the path we were truly meant to travel. The Stoics knew this. Failure doesn't create errors. If something doesn't happen as we planned, it's because it had to show us another lesson. Marcus Aurelius said, "The obstacle is the path." And that perspective changes everything, because then failure stops being an enemy and becomes a teacher. How many times has a setback led you to something better? A job that didn't work out, perhaps it opened the door to starting your own business. A painful breakup, maybe it cleared space for a more authentic relationship. What breaks away is a sign, because pain creates marks, and those marks become maps to move forward with greater wisdom. Seneca wrote, "We suffer more in our imagination than in reality." And setbacks are a clear example. We turn them into monsters that paralyze us, when in reality, they are just a necessary step in building our character. Setbacks limit what shouldn't remain: illusions, empty goals, paths misaligned with our truth. When something falls apart, it forces us to restart, to reconsider, to stop walking due to inertia. Apparent loss is actually liberation. Epictetus taught, "It's not our circumstances that define us, but how we respond to them." A setback doesn't make you less valuable. What defines you is your decision after the setback. You can surrender and drown in excuses, or you can rise with the clarity of someone who knows every failed attempt is a training session. Resilience is forged precisely in moments when nothing goes as expected. There is no strength without falling, no wisdom without failing. Setbacks act as filters, eliminating the unnecessary, leaving only what is essential. When what breaks, the authentic emerges. The pain of seeing a plan fail is great, but far worse would be to keep walking in the wrong direction. Setbacks save us from disappointment. They wake us from the dream of a life that wasn't truly ours. Marcus Aurelius reminded us, everything that happens, happens for our benefit, even if it seems otherwise at first. That trust allows us to accept that even setbacks are part of a greater design. It's not about seeking failure, but about embracing it with serenity, aware that learning lies behind every stumble. Every failed attempt is a sign, pointing to the moment you need to readjust, change, or move forward differently. This is life's language, guiding us toward what truly belongs to us. The story of anyone we admire is full of errors, rejections, and failures. What sets them apart from those stuck in stagnation is that they understood every failure was just another step in their ascent. Failure doesn't destroy those who treat it as a teacher. It destroys those who see it as the end. It's not the error that defeats us, it's surrender. Life is not measured by the absence of setbacks, but by our ability to rise after each one. And with every rise, we become stronger, more aware, more authentic. So if today you feel you failed, remember, what breaks teaches. It's not loss, it's adjustment. It's not defeat, it's redirection. And when you look back, you'll be grateful for every failure, because it pushed you onto your true path. Failure is not the end. It's the beginning of a more sacred version of yourself. Now write in the comments, I transform my failures into life's redirections. Lesson 6. Synchronicity is not chance, it's meaning. There are times when life seems to speak through hidden messages, via subtle signs, a word that repeats, a number that keeps appearing, an unexpected meeting arriving just when you need it most. Many call these coincidences, but in truth they are synchronicities, the universe's response to what we carry within. Synchronicity acts as a silent guide, showing us that nothing happens by chance, that every detail has a purpose. The Stoics sensed this. They intuited that everything that occurs is part of a greater weave, a network of causes and effects beyond mental grasp, but revealed to those who know how to observe. Paying attention opens the mind to this invisible web, allowing us to move forward with greater clarity. When we ignore the signs, we live trapped in hopelessness, believing everything is random, thinking our decisions don't resonate in the world. But when we learn to pause and listen, we discover the universe is constantly responding to our inner state. Epictetus reminded us, external things have no power in themselves. It is our perception that gives them meaning. In the same way, synchronicity doesn't function as capricious magic, but as a reflection of what we are already cultivating within. If your mind is focused on a purpose, life will show you paths and people that confirm it. If your heart seeks healing, it will attract encounters and experiences that aid the process. Nothing is accidental when it repeats, and every repetition is an invitation to look deeper. Marcus Aurelius said, "The universe is change, and life is opinion." He reminded us that everything flows with a greater order, and our task is to recognize it without resistance. How many times have you thought something was a coincidence, only to later realize it was the key that opened a new chapter? A call at the perfect hour, a seemingly trivial conversation that inspired a life-changing decision, an obstacle that appeared to block your path, but actually redirected you to where you belonged. Synchronicity is a reminder. We do not walk alone. The outer and inner worlds are in constant dialogue. Seneca said, No wind is favorable to those who don't know where they're going, and synchronicities act as winds, propelling your ship in the right direction, provided you are holding the rudder. If we ignore them, we dismiss them as mere coincidences and stay in autopilot. But if we acknowledge them, we realize each sign is either confirmation or a warning. Attention is the key. Those who are distracted fail to see the tests life places in their path. But those who cultivate calm and presence begin to sense the coherence between what they think, what they feel, and what unfolds around them. The universe responds to our interior because we are part of it. Now write in the comments, "I honor the synchronicities in my life." Final reflection: embrace the hidden design. Nothing in your life is random. Every experience, every person, every twist is part of a greater design. You are not here by chance, you are here with purpose. The Stoics didn't wait for life to be fair. They accepted it as a teacher. They didn't fight against hardship. They asked, "What are you trying to show me?" And when you adopt that mindset, everything changes. You stop asking, "Why me?" and start asking, "What is this preparing me for?" You stop resisting and start receiving. You stop seeing pain as punishment and start recognizing it as refinement. The greatest breakthroughs in your life will come from the very moments you once cursed. The loss you mourned may have saved you. The rejection you feared may have protected you. The failure that crushed you may have been the foundation of your future strength, because the universe doesn't destroy, it redirects. It doesn't punish, it purifies. It doesn't abandon, it refines. So trust the unseen. Believe in the perfect timing. Honor the trials, because they shape you. And remember, the path that matters most is not the one free of obstacles, but the one where you kept going anyway. Now write in the comments, "I trust that nothing is coincidence. Everything has a purpose." Because when you live by this truth, you no longer wander, you walk with faith. And that faith is not blind, it is wise. It sees the pattern beneath the surface, the purpose behind the pain, and the light waiting beyond every tunnel. Let this be the day you stop resisting and start listening. Let this be the day you say, "I am not broken, I am being built." And let every future challenge be met with this quiet certainty: this too has meaning, and I am strong enough to carry it.